All right, the CPI came in hotter than expected yesterday. Pre-market stocks dumped, but at open, they began to climb. Today, we got the PPI, and based on how stocks went higher today, you would think it came in softer. No, it came in hotter as well. Analysts' interpretation of the report, though, suggested that the pipeline inflation pressures were easing. Is that true? I'm not sure. It appears that this market wants to defy bad data and continue to climb. The fact is, the CPI and PPI are higher than anyone was expecting, but I think it was largely already priced in. This is a market that has reasons to go higher in 2025. They've just been trying to slowly sort out all of the problems. There was a lot of downward pressure put on stocks in December and January due to the tariff war that Donald Trump was waging. But the fact is, these tariffs seem to be on hold, and he's continuing to iron out the details of these negotiations, and people are beginning to be less fearful of the unknown, the uncertainty. Markets are climbing. When you take a look at the SPY, it's looking pretty bullish, and it seems as if any red day was a buying opportunity. So at this moment, it's easy to feel pretty good. We do have some underlying problems, but let's just ignore them like all the other analysts and make money every single day. That's what we did today in the Stocks with Josh Discord. I gave a handful of trade setups. I do that every single day. Two of the companies that I need to cover are Tesla and Apple. Those were two trade setups that absolutely printed. And I want to give you some brief commentary on what I see in these stock charts right now, because Apple's continuing to show strength, slowly reclimbing from its recent low. Tesla, of course, fell off a cliff, had an incredible downturn, printed and oversold on the RSI, and has recovered. I'm going to give you an opinion after we glance at those charts whether or not we're out of the woods. I've also got two stocks that I want to cover that if you don't own these two stocks, you might be doing something wrong, because these have been runaway winners in 2025 so far. And I would tell you that if it's winning right now in January of 2025, it's probably going to have a pretty good year. And it's something that you need to look at based on any pullbacks that we get. In one case, I'm going to share a stock with you where the buyers have been completely and totally locked out. What does that mean? It means it hasn't dipped. It's not giving any red days to buy. People have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for a pullback, and it just hasn't come yet. I'm going to share that with you guys. Everything will be time-stamped. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for joining me today. In yesterday's live video that I did, I shouted out Reddit, and I gave it as a buy the dip stock, and it's popped since. This is one that I want to get into long because I think it's going to continue to win in 2025. A lot of folks have been waiting on the sideline to buy the dip on this one, and pay close attention because I'm going to be dropping a long-term buy alert on Reddit soon. As soon as I see a little bit more consolidation. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for dropping a heart in the comments. Thanks for saying hi, and let me know right off the bat if you made some money on the Tesla and Apple play today. They were super hot and they were super easy to trade. Tesla pretty much crossed the price threshold that I gave, and it just climbed and climbed and climbed, and it went all the way up to the resistance level that I provided. And if you bought in, you printed money. It was an absolute money printer. Guys, if you don't know what trade setups I'm referring to, I have a pro trading community and an education platform. It's the Stocks with Josh family. It's the Chart Goat University. I'm going to leave a link in the top pinned comment. It's www.stockswithjosh.com is the name of the show, and in the name of the website. You can head over there and join the community. And each and every day, I'm dropping trade setups and alerts for people to use in conjunction with their own research to make financial decisions. All right, let's quickly take a peek at the Tesla chart because that's the one that's really screamed higher. And I have some pretty strong opinions as to what I think will happen next. So right off the bat, we had a buy set up this morning that if the price crossed above 349 to go long, it absolutely shot up. And the trade setup was for a move to 357. We got that. It printed. And from that point forward, it began to sort of cool off. Now, here's what I want to tell you guys. This was a beautiful move. and we've back tested an area of resistance. And we need to be very careful because I would tell you right now that tomorrow morning, if we cannot hold 349 and we back test it, we are simply going to go back probably to 336. And I'm going to be giving that as a trade setup in the morning based on what I see pre-market. That's another quick comment. Let me just explain that to you guys real quick. All of my trade setups are provided before the market opens. You can go over, check them out. I typically give anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4. Snap the lines on your chart, and all you have to do is take the position, calls or puts or leveraged ETFs, if the price crosses to the upside or to the downside. However, these are momentum trades, and the targets that I provide are not, it's not a buy and hold, and it's not meant for you to take the trade and hold it till it gets to the target. Sometimes it takes a pretty substantial move for it to hit the targets that I provided. Those targets are resistance levels, and the move will usually print some money, but you want to be trading. The goal is to get a percentage gain, right? And so if you get into the position, you can begin to slowly take profit as you move higher and higher. And if you stop getting green candles and it turns to red candles, well, then you need to make sure that you are protecting your capital and you have a stop loss in place. All right, let's quickly take a look at Apple because it printed just as well as Tesla. And what was nice about the Apple call is that if you were in Tesla initially, Apple sort of started popping a little bit later in the morning. The trade was for a move above 237. There's always a warning to watch out or ignore any false wick signals that might occur in the first 5 minutes. Apple gave that. It consolidated. It moved back above 237, and that was the clear buy signal, and it just moved all the way up to the target provided, which was 240.70. It consolidated. It's actually moving above and breaking out further, and so again, this is one we're going to be watching because we may wake up tomorrow morning and this may already be at 244. So Apple is still moving higher, and I wanted you guys to be aware that it's continuously been showing strength. Ever since we made that $220 low, we have been steadily moving higher, and I would suggest that we are going to have to come up and face this 247, 248 area, and if we break out, then believe it or not, Apple is telling us it's going all the way back to its recent all-time highs. And so Apple was moving slowly for a little while back here, but I also want to point out this pattern that we are going to be getting here soon, which is a W pattern, right? And it gets confirmed if it breaks above this previous high. So we need candles to open and close above essentially 248 to 249. And then what you do is you take the distance from there to the bottom of the W, and you put that on top, and that actually gives you a projected target of Apple up at 270. Now, let's just take a step back. I want you to understand that that is a best case bullish scenario. I sometimes share these patterns and these targets, and then people just turn around and buy calls long, and then they say, hey, it didn't hit your target. Okay, guys, I want to repeat this. That's a W pattern. We have a previous resistance at 248. The next resistance level I gave you earlier in the video was 244, right? We got to get above 244. Then we're going to test 248. But if we do open and close some candles above that 248, 249 resistance, then it tells us that Apple's absolutely moving back up to all-time highs and even higher, moving up to $270. So let's get into some more stocks. Palantir was on my trade setup list, but it didn't signal. By the time I'm making this video, it was for a move above $119 with a target of 123. And yes, at this point, Palantir has not slowed down. And the only way that I can see playing it is to slowly raise your stop loss. My stop loss is currently set at $108.50. And if we do get above $119, I'll bring it up. And I'll let you guys know in the Stocks with Josh Discord where I set that next. Now, the next play is one that should be on, you should own this stock because this has been one of the best movers in 2025 so far. Now, I gave some technicals on it, and the technicals are bearish. And so even though I'm saying that you should own this stock, I'm also going to give you sort of a line in the sand for the fact that it's had an incredible move. And this is one that you need to be watching for a pullback and a pivot low to buy potentially the next move higher. And I'm going to give you guys where you should put your stop loss, what the up target should be, and where it might pivot and provide a new buy entry. Let's go into that chart. All right, we're talking about Robinhood. I've got 2-day candles on the chart. I like to use 2-day candles because it gives you a perspective of what the current move is doing. We had a huge gap up here on earnings. Now, I do not believe that this move is over, but I want to give you guys some things to be watching out for. First, we do have a pretty ugly candle, okay? So this is a shooting star. Now, it's by itself, it's a shooting star, but it only gets really confirmed if we open and close a candle beneath the opening price of this candle, which was right around $62. And so this only becomes a bearish shooting star confirmed candle if we open and close a candle beneath $62. Now, the way that I think this should be played is a stop loss scenario because it's a hot mover and it can absolutely continue to trend up all the way moving up to $72 to $76. However, if the move wants to cool off and take a break, then the stop loss in my mind should be at $58.50. That would give it a little bit of room before getting out of what I'd say, again, is a winning stock. Now, as far as long-term purchases go, you can see that this has occasionally come back and tested the 20 EMA, right? This is where it's popped each and every time. And so that's what we're looking for again. We're looking for this to potentially come back as far as those who are trying to increase their position or those who are trying to get in for the first time. You have to wait on these and you're wanting it to come back and hit that 20 EMA. So at the moment, that could be right around the $52 mark. But it has not started pulling back. I do want to highlight one more dynamic, and that's that we do have bearish divergence on the RSI, which is this. We had a price high here with a momentum high here. This momentum high is not as high as this past high, even though it's getting very close, but the price is much higher. And so we do have bearish divergence on the RSI that should concern us a little bit. The bottom line on Robinhood is it just gapped up, and we're going to go with our gap rule, which is to wait a couple days and see exactly what the stock does before attempting to short something that has actually just had an incredible move higher. It's only when we get a candle that would cross beneath that stop loss price that I gave you of $58.50 that it would signal the move all the way back to the 20 EMA. As of this moment right now, even though there is some bearish divergence on the RSI, this is a stock that's absolutely in the hands of the bulls and running higher. So keep it on your radar. Now, the other big play that had an incredible move today based on some news and some other factors is Intel. This is one that I've been talking about early this year. 3 stocks that I'm buying in 2025 video, and all of those have done very, very well. Intel had a headline today. Intel stock is on a run not seen in more than 2 decades. So this stock, obviously, everybody knows that it has hit its low. And recently they had earnings which weren't great. The reason why it didn't go lower is because most people simply believe that all the bad news has already been priced into the stock. And now there's the hope for a turnaround story or opportunity ahead. It just appeared that everything bad, all FUD, had been priced in, and there was little risk to it going lower. Institutional buyers who are willing to take more risk had begun to buy it around the $18.90 range. And it was when it was $18.90, I also chose to buy. This was one of our stocks that we put into our Leap channel, and it was up big today. The skips were up 150% and the leaps were up 80%. And this was one that we had a ton of time to accumulate. Remember, this is 75% down from its all-time highs, and it's at a 14-year low in its price. And one of the things that specifically moved it was some commentary by the VP, J.D. Vance. He went on to cheer U.S. semiconductor manufacturing as well as threatening tariffs on foreign chip makers. That's all the market needed to hear. And this was confirmation of actually the fundamental story that I gave you in the video, 3 stocks to buy in 2025. And that was that this current administration was definitely going to favor companies that were manufacturing and designing chips here in the US over companies that may be designing them here but manufacturing them elsewhere. Now, I personally don't think that Donald Trump or this administration is going to go to war with NVIDIA, because I think NVIDIA is a very important company, and I think that the president knows he needs them. So he can't really push them too hard. He needs to support them because they're part of America's success story as well. But he does want to favor the chip manufacturing that's going on here in the US. I also reminded you guys that Intel was it was in the second place for corporate sponsorship, corporate welfare. These guys get money from the US to grow and to continue to advance. And it's continuing. So the exact quote that J.D. Vance gave was, "To safeguard America's advantage, the Trump administration will ensure that the most powerful AI systems are built in the US with American designed and manufactured chips." Vance said that at an AI summit, and it's exactly what we expected to happen, and it gave the market a reason to begin to buy this up. Now, this has had an incredible 18% move in the last 3 days. And the last time that Intel moved that way in a 3-day period, that was back in April 20th of 2001. And at that time, it had a 45% move from the bottom to the top in the coming days, right? And where are we at right now on Intel? Well, we've got room to move higher. If Intel has a similar move, and personally, I think the move will be better, but if we did the same thing that we did back in April 20th of 2001, that would put the Intel price at the end of this week at $28. So Intel is hot. I got a ton of questions about selling Intel with this news right now. And the fact is I have no incentive to do that. It's okay if it cools off a little bit because I'm playing the longer game. There are folks that, they can't do options. They don't know how, or they don't have the time to sit and watch it because they're working full time. That's the reason why we're doing leaps, because anything that I'm buying leaps on, you can buy the long-term options where you don't have to sit and watch them, or the underlying shares themselves. If you had bought Intel the day that I called it out, it was only $18. And today we got right under $25. So it was a beautiful move. Now, I just briefly want to talk about the Stocks with Josh Discord one more time and mention that I shared this Leaps channel and the launch of it in December and January. And already everything that we've put into that has been wildly profitable. I've had a number of incredible success stories that people have been sharing with me, that everything that they bought in this Leaps channel that I created in the Stocks with Josh Discord has caused their portfolio to be up a lot, right? Basically, guys, what I'm telling you right now is I gave you months to get prepared and to get into the Stocks with Josh Discord and to participate in this. And I'm just going to tell you right now, this is the first round of some pretty substantial success bell ringing on the Leaps channel. But I can tell you, it's just beginning. I'm personally holding my Intel because I believe it's going to go up to that $28 and possibly as high as $36 and $40. We just need more good news stories and more benefits coming from the Trump administration to them. We are also holding leaps on AMD, and we're also holding leaps on NVIDIA, and both of those are also doing very well. And on that point, I'm getting ready to announce right after I shoot this film in the Leaps channel a new long-term buy. These are ones that I think we're going to see 200, 300, and it's even possible that in this particular channel, we're going to see gains of 1,000%. Of course, there's no guarantee. All of this could not work out, but I'm here yet again telling you that it's working out very, very well. Some folks join the Discord. They don't understand it. They get a little confused. They get impatient. They quit and walk away. While we continue for month after month after month to have beautiful winning days. Be patient with me. Be patient with yourself. Come check it out. If you were in it and you left, come back in and join and participate. But just go a little slower. We're going to make some money. We're doing it every single day. All right, let's talk about another stock that you needed to have owned here in 2025 because it's been an absolute runaway winner. This is on the list of the top 5 stocks that have absolutely been crushing it in 2025, and that's TEM, TEM.AI. Now, I talked about this a couple weeks back. The news surrounding TEM at the time was that Nancy Pelosi had bought a big pile of this. What exactly do these guys do? Well, Tempest AI specializes in leveraging artificial intelligence to enhance precision medicine and improve patient care outcomes. I smell a government contract coming to this company very, very soon. Nancy, the goat with the crystal ball, bought this, and she's already up massively. This thing has moved up 160% since news came out that she had bought it. Now, a good portion of that is the fact that she bought it, and if you've participated in some of her past purchases, you did very, very well. We ran PanW for tens of thousands of dollars of profit last year, and the big play this year is TEM. Now, I'm going to take you into the chart, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I see happening. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to give you the stop loss, right? Because you always need to have some protection of your capital, and you don't want to get caught up in all these narratives and stories. And you buy the top because you heard that Nancy Pelosi bought this after it ran 160%. If you get in today, you need to put the stop loss in. I'm going to give you my stop loss for your consideration, and I'm going to give you some perspective of where this thing can actually go, because it doesn't appear to be slowing down. Let's go look at the chart. Okay, we're looking at 2-day candles, and let me just be clear, this thing is actually up 172% from where Nancy Pelosi bought it. I actually covered this stock right here and told everybody that if we got above $53.40 that we would go higher, and wow, have we gone much higher than I thought we would go. We are all the way up here at $86.90. Now, $86.90 is absolutely a resistance. That's why it's marked on the chart. And so this has had a near 200% move, and it is knocking on the door of resistance. However, you understand that this previous area that had been resistance is potentially getting ready to become support, and that's that $79 mark. It's super critical that price holds $79 at this point. If price were to go beneath, well, then it's sort of going back into this momentum area of decline, and it could go as low as 66 or as low as 58. But the other area that is above us now, and this seems to want to continue to run, and as I said at the beginning, the market, even on bad CPI and bad PPI, is going higher. We know Palantir is going higher, and so the only way to trade this market is with slowly raising your stop loss. The stop loss that I've got right now on TEM is $79. The current area of resistance that I've identified on the chart where I could see this doing some consolidation is $86.90. Watch that post and pre-market to see if that area gets hit and it begins to reverse. But if we get above $86.90, then this thing is absolutely going to $100. And here's the good news. If we actually get a weekly candle close to open above that $75 to $79, it has to open up a minimum above 75, and it has to close above $79, which is sort of, we've got the cross of price now, but we don't have the new weekly confirmation that that level is going to hold. But if we get that, then the next FEB level, the golden level above us on the FEB, pushes this all the way up to $110 to $120. And so even though I'm highlighting the fact that you need to be using a stop loss, I also want to point out that this has recently broken out above its previous all-time high, and it's pointing to a continuation move higher. And I'm just going to remind you, so far, the theme of 2025 has been to hold your winners. Hold them longer because they're continuing to print. It's not always going to be like this, but at some point, these things will go and make a pivot low. But right now, this is a stock picker's market. And what I think is happening is that there are some folks rolling out of some big tech companies. They got money to put somewhere, and that's why companies like Hood and TEM have been rocket ships. Let me know in the comments section if you're holding any Hood and TEM. Okay, the last one I've got to cover is an NVIDIA, because I think it's important that you see what I'm watching in that chart. Let's go check it out. All right, we're looking at the daily chart. The first thing I want to highlight is that we are on our way to earnings next week, Wednesday, February 26th, okay? And obviously, I've been talking about this quite a while. You guys know that we bought the dip here, and we bought it here, and we bought it all throughout this area. Would have loved to have loaded up more at 108. I would have gotten extra greedy, but we never got that. Instead, we've been slowly moving higher. Now, there's some important moving average lines that are on your chart. One of them is the 20 EMA. That is the orange one. And when price falls beneath the 20, it means it's going to be making a new low. We saw that happen here. It gapped down pretty hard. But similarly, when price recovers, opens above and closes above the 20, that is a brand new buy signal, and it often indicates a higher high may be in the works. So right now we're testing this. We need to hold this tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we back test, but I do expect that we would get a wick very similar to this candle that back tested this moving average, wicked up. We could do that one more time as we're moving closer to earnings. Don't let the market makers push you out of your NVIDIA trade. You know, you got to do you. This is not a suggestion for what you should buy, sell, or hold. I'll just let you guys know that I'm holding this strong to earnings, and I believe ultimately, if price gets to $150 after earnings, it indicates that we're actually going to move higher right now. Now, the next thing I want to point out to you guys regarding NVIDIA is that we actually have a second buy signal. So right here, this red line is the 150-day moving average, but let's change it to the 200, okay? Now, this is what's cool. When on the MACD, when price is above the 200-day moving average, okay, which it clearly is right now, and you get a cross on the MACD, which we clearly got back here, that is a classic buy signal. So let me just recap this for a minute. Guys, you know that NVIDIA is one of these stocks that we bought leaps on at the ideal perfect time. And people were buying this back in December when it was $145 to $150. I came out and said, don't. No, it's not going to work. I said, we're going to buy this when it gets down below $120. We got that. We were able to load up our leaps, and now they're deep in the profit, right? And so I hope that you guys join me. If you did, just drop a heart in the comments and say, yes, I'm making money on NVIDIA. You can put a heart, NVIDIA, and a bag of cash emoji to let me know. But here's the main thing I'm telling you. Don't get shook out at the last minute. I'm expecting a possible retest and bounce off of the 20, maybe back to the 129. If that happens, I'm going to add some more to our leaps. We might even add NVIDIA skips, and these could be very, very profitable. So pay close attention. You don't have to trade every day, and every trade doesn't have to be right. But if you have good patience and you get the right trade at the right moment, it can make your month, it can make your quarter, it could even make your year. Right now, NVIDIA is doing very well. It could even do better for us. Here's the two things I want to remind you of. We are above the 20 EMA, which is a buy signal. We had a cross up on the MACD beneath the zero line while price was above the 200-day EMA. That's also a classic MACD buy signal. So we've got what I would refer to as confluence. So in the days leading up to NVIDIA's earnings, don't let any FUD shake you out of your position. At least I'm not going to. It's not a suggestion for what you guys should do. And I assume that you're paper trading and not using actual money. I'm giving you guidance on what I'm doing with my money and my trades. So I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully I got all the stocks covered that I was planning to. I do have a brand new stock that one of my good buddies brought to my attention. I charted it. I loved it. And I'm sharing a new leap buy on it in the Discord as soon as I get this video posted. So if you're part of the Stocks with Josh Discord, go check it out, look it over. Hopefully this will be our next big winner. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of the wins that you shared in the Discord. I love seeing your stories. People in there saying that they've been watching. Some people saying they were paper trading, but that they're feeling really confident seeing their paper trading account grow. Now, I sometimes joke about paper trading. This person was legitimately paper trading. But there are others who went in very cautiously. One gentleman shared with me today that he had moved his small account up thousands of dollars just taking the daily trade setups cautiously with stop losses. And I'm very confident that somebody like that who's not a gambler, right, is going to be very successful on Wall Street, because one of the biggest things, it's not getting the hot play. It's not following my technicals. The thing that people need to grow in is their disciplines, right? Because you can get everything right and you can know how to do it, and you can fail miserably and lose a lot of money. You guys know that's true. I know there's some folks out there that know that what I just said is 100% true. So we're going to do it with discipline. We're going to do it in a community, and we're going to make some money. I think we had a great day today. Let me know if you guys had a good day. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me today. Peace and blessings.